I saw something. Unable to connect. Come on. Come on, TikTok. Okay, well, I'll have to look into that later. I'm sorry, I had to stop and go live real quick. TikTok is not working with me, so I guess I won't be making my TikTok debut, but that's fine. We're going to continue the discussion everywhere else. Okay, so just in case if anyone rewatches this replay, I'm going to start from the beginning, and just because we're right at the beginning, I'll get through this quicker. The discussion of the big three. I'm a huge hip-hop head. I make hip-hop, so I feel like I'm qualified, especially when talking about the big three, since I've watched Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar from their mixtape days develop into the huge megastars they are. It's kind of surreal to see and say that. But I've studied all three, and all three have affected my style and my hip-hop music. And I've met Kendrick Lamar. That's me standing next to him after his show with Steve Aoki in St. Louis at the Chaffetz Arena. That was back when he was an opener for him, ironically enough. I paid $30 to see him. Now I think I'd have to pay $300 to see him. But anyway, I'm qualified to talk about this. Now, but back to the core discussion. Everyone is freaking out over this Kendrick Lamar Drake diss, supposedly. And I'm here to tell you it's not a diss, okay? It's Kendrick Lamar flexing, but it can't be a diss. Because I'll get into why it's not a diss. But I'm going to map out the big three real quick for you, and then we'll be right where we left off, bro, Tim. So I'm doing this for the people that I dropped out. Okay, so at the top of the big three is J. Cole, because J. Cole, out of the big three, is the best hip-hop artist. We're talking about hip-hops, okay? We're talking about hip-hop's big three. I'm not talking about music's big three or anything. Music's big three probably wouldn't even involve, it would only involve Drake. He might be in that discussion in music's big three. But hip-hop's big three, J. Cole is the top. He's the best hip-hop artist. Number two on the big three in hip-hop is Kendrick Lamar. Because out of the big three, Kendrick Lamar is the better rapper. If he was to rap battle any of the two, Kendrick Lamar would win. Easily. Because he knows he has the technique. He's a son of the West Coast. Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, he seems like he could jump into battle rap very easily if he wanted to. Things like that. Now, Drake is rap's biggest star. He's probably the biggest star we will ever see in hip-hop before the genre dies, to be honest. I don't know if we'll ever see someone that big. There's a lot of people that kind of scratch the surface a little bit, but his reign in hip-hop, his domination in hip-hop, all of that is just too it's just too dominant. Like he said in his music before, I'm not even really hip-hop anymore. I be doing pop, I be doing reggae. I did a dance album. He's just a star in hip-hop. He's just the biggest. But he can rap as well. He just doesn't have to, and he hasn't in a while. So, back to the discussion of the diss. And now we're at where we left off, bro Tim. And since we're not on TikTok, I feel less afraid to really get into this. Because TikTok had all the... now we're on TikTok. Okay, so now I am afraid again. Okay, so now I'm just going to do what I was going to do originally with this diss. Now, everyone is talking about this diss. And everyone's like, oh, Kendrick Lamar bodied the big three or whatever. I don't believe he bodied it. Bodied the big three whatsoever, actually. I think that it was just a really good... honestly, his Control verse that ignited hip-hop back in 2013, I feel like that was more of a outright diss. Because that was back when everybody... They weren't at the same playing field. Kendrick Lamar was kind of like... He was a big name. J. Cole's a big name. But there's Mac Miller, Tyler, the Creator. There's a lot of good bubbling artists around him. And that's when he said, nah. Like, we're cool and all, but I'm trying to take all of your fans. I'm trying to be the king of this shit. So that was more of a diss. Because that was back when everyone was rapping. Everyone was actually focused on lyricism and hip-hop creation. Now... No one he especially has not been focused on making straight up great hip hop in a while. He hasn't focused on making straight up great hip hop in a while. And I'll get into that. And actually, it starts with this. Because if you want to diss the big three, do it any way you want. And do it anywhere you want. You're Kendrick Lamar. Who am I, you know? I'm just an underground hip hop artist that's been trying to make it for about 12 years now. So, who am I? But I will say, it's just weird for you to, if you're going to seriously call someone out, you're going to do it on the Future and Metro Booming album. You know, like, it's so out of place. Like, everyone's vibing and you're trying to bring a real lyrical, I'm the biggest of the big three in here after Drake and J. Cole had a #1 song, kind of shouted me out. Like, I'll get into my theories later, but basically, I'm gonna play a little bit of this song right here. I know TikTok's super sensitive, so I'm gonna play a little bit of it, because it's just to get my point across. That's garbage, right? That sounds terrible. That sounds horrible. No one's talking about how bad this beat is. People made fun of Ether. Nas's diss to Jay-Z. This is bad. Like, this is a bad beat. And everyone's like, oh, Metro Boomin made a fire beat. This is a bad beat. Okay? And I will stand on that. And this is, let's hear a little bit more of it. Let's see if I can find just the instrumental. I could probably get away with it if it's just the instrumental. This beat is garbage. Like, I don't understand why no one's saying that. What are those little mini... What are those horns? That sounds like a fucking 8th grade middle school band member. So anyway, that's the first problem with this. Now let's get into the lyrics, because I just don't get it. No one's talking about this. So I'm gonna get into the lyrics now. I don't say the N-word. So I say people. Because I was raised right. So these people talking out of their necks, don't pull no coffin out of your mouth, I'm way too paranoid for a threat. Okay, cool, whatever. You know, hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. Let's get into further dissing. Okay, the weird part of this verse that I saw on TikTok, and I probably should have pulled up the TikTok. Someone broke this part down. I'll pull it up on my phone, actually. Pull it up on my phone. You can tell that this is my first time multi-streaming everywhere. One of my friends sent me this. And I think this is a huge reach. But this is what people do for Kendrick. I feel like Kendrick is a dope rapper and definitely the best rapper of our generation in his technique. But sometimes what he writes is given a lot of praise that's not there. As someone who is a lyricist as well, and I think of deep lines and have dissected deep lines, my rule of thumb though with looking into lines is if you have to dig and dig and dig and dig, especially if it's a line. The line that I'm about to get into is if he walking around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop that location? I still got PTSD. But really, if he walking around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Some guy on TikTok, he said that because in Dreamville's album, Jid has a song that opens up called Stick. And it's just really a hype beat song. I hate the song. He's saying that this is a reference to J. Cole since he's walking around with that stick. the Jid made the song "Stick" on his label. Guess that means J. Cole is walking around with the stick. You see how very reachy that is? Just me saying that. It ain't Andre 3K. Then he goes on to say, just because he's walking around with that stick, doesn't mean he's Andre 3K, referring to Andre 3K walking around with that stick, a flute, which he said is a wooden instrument, which I instantly said, not always. It's not always. I played the flute. My flute was metal. I can actually... Is my flute in my room? Yeah. That's not wooden. It's rusted. You know, I haven't opened it since fucking high school. It's probably disgusting. On some Plexi show on stream. But, yeah. Not wood. That's what I mean by people like... Kendrick Lamar has said a lot of important things. But because he has said a lot of important things, people think a lot of things he says is important now. And that's not true. And I only say that to say... we should know that his pen isn't on that kind of level right now. Because he's been running around with Baby Keem chilling and doing nothing, really. I mean, I don't want to... It sounds like I'm just bashing Kendrick Lamar. I'm not. I'm just really trying to say that this isn't a diss. It's just a hard verse. It's a good verse with some references to Drake and J. Cole here and there. But it's not the diss everyone is thinking it is. Because Kendrick is too afraid, really, to rap with J. Cole and prove this. They had a whole album that they're working on. Right? Where is it? Why isn't it out? You think it's because J. Cole doesn't want it to go out? You think that's the reason? The guy who's willing to rap with Drake and say, hey, we're on the same level. Let's just make good music. You think he's the one that can't put it out? Or is it the guy that has the mystique in rap that, oh, he's the greatest, he's the second coming of Tupac? And if he, puts a project out that shows that someone who doesn't have that much clout in the game or that much reverence in the game. Because J. Cole, in my opinion, he's my favorite at the top 3. I'm explaining why, though, he should be objectively. But he's not objectively the top 3, okay? You know what I'm saying? For me, it's kind of like trying to explain to people that Naruto is the best of the anime big 3, when a lot of people will say One Piece is. Kendrick Lamar is a lot like One Piece to me in that conversation. It's like, okay, I get it. He touched a lot of people. He's done a lot of things. But if you really look at what he does, it's not so much better than the other thing. But people act like it's so much better. And I mean, I could break down this verse more, but that was the one that really got me. I'm like, you guys are really looking for it. The only thing that I think is the diss is when he says, what you talking about a big 3? There's only a big me or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, but he said that before. He said something like, I'm smoking on top 5 tonight with Baby Keem, and then proceeded not to really rap. And he also, in the Hillbillies, like, Kendrick Lamar isn't even really rapping right now. He really isn't. He's just chilling. I'm just very confused at why people just give Kendrick Lamar so much. And it sounds like I'm a hater, and this stream would be a lot more interesting if I could play the music. But I'm just saying. Bro, Tim, you still out there? I have other things I would like to say about hip-hop, but it's hard to do without music. So yeah. I think that's it. Apparently Drake has responded to Kendrick about it. It's just, I just don't get, like, people who don't, like, do we care about lyrics or not? Do we care about it? Because it's like we care when only certain people do it. But we don't care when other people do it. I'm kind of just yapping right now. I think I got what I wanted to say off my chest about it. And I really did this format for a YouTube video. So thank y'all for being a part of this. I think I'm going to reset the stream though and switch it more to a game-focused stream because I got to get some bullshit games out of the way. But thanks for watching and listening to my conversation. If you have anything to say about it and you caught the stream towards the end or whatever, you were camera shy, you can talk to me while I'm playing games. But yeah, I think I'm going to go do that. So I love y'all. And hopefully TikTok did not ban me for those little 15 seconds. But I'll be right back. I'm just going to switch